Shavers, this is Tim with the Shaving Tolson, back at it again with more content, and I'm happy to finally bring you guys the Neo-Gam. Now this is a very cool and fun vintage razor, great for anybody's collection. And that's one of the reasons why I acquired it. Ever since I saw an episode of I'd Lather Be Shaving where Douglas Smythe really got into this razor, he showcased it, and I thought it was really interesting. And then if you go to his site, he has a lot of the old advertising material, or a lot of the logos and stuff like that, printed on some shirt designs and stuff like that, which I'd really love to acquire because I love this razor. That just really kind of piqued my interest on acquiring one. One of the tricky things, though, about this particular razor is it is not an easy razor to find. Now, I had to search eBay, then I moved over to the international. Usually I like to order from within the US. It's just easier on shipping for me, lower cost, that sort of thing. But I did open up my field of search, and lo and behold, I found it in Italy. Didn't actually take that long to get here, and it arrived in excellent condition. It arrived with the original box, which is also in excellent condition, as you guys can see here. I just love this whole thing. It's just been wonderfully preserved over time. You'll find that with the Neo-Gams, the actual patent for this razor was in 1937. Yeah, July 2nd of 1937. And then they were actually released circa about between 1948 to 1954. So you really, between the 1930s and the 1950s, you started seeing this rise in slant razors, this becoming a thing, and it really all started off in Germany. Cool thing is it didn't come with this little pamphlet that came inside. I don't think that this is probably the original pamphlet that actually came inside, but I think it was nice of someone to take the time to print, cut, and include it with this packet. But the cool thing is it even reaffirms how you're supposed to be shaving with this razor. And as you can probably see with the shaving video up in the upper right hand corner, that is the way that you do shave, and it provides you with these maximum levels of shaving. The reason why it does that, or that's the idea, is that the steep angle of this razor kind of gives this guillotine effect to your facial hair. And you would think, you honestly would think, just by looking at this, that it would provide you a very aggressive shave. In fact, it's completely the opposite. This provides a very mild, very comfortable shave. Not the most efficient shave, oddly enough, but a very comfortable shave. And if you'll watch my video up in the upper right hand corner, you're going to see as we progress through the video that it does take me a couple passes before I get to really the shave level that I really like, the optimum experience that I look for when I am shaving with these razors. But as you guys saw, it did come with a little pamphlet, which I thought was pretty cool. What it also came with was the original spare bracket. Now you can actually replace the bracket that came with the Neo-Gam with this one. Out of all the parts that are likely to fall apart, it's probably going to be this bracket, as it does take significant force to actually close the razor. And I will show you guys that right now. Now, this will take any modern double-edged razor blade. That's the fantastic thing about this. If you've been on the fence, if this is a razor that you thought was really cool, but you wondered how practical it would be in modern times to use, if you would be able to find blades for it, it will take any modern DE razor blade that you're able to find out there on the market. I actually have an Astra Superior Platinum blade in here that I'm utilizing for the shave tonight in the video. I love Astra Superior Platinum blades. They're good for me to be able to compare the performance of various razors, as I know how the blade itself will typically perform at its optimum levels. So let me go ahead and show you how you take this off. Now, there is a little ramp. You can kind of see that knob right there. It actually slides and retains via pressure against this metal bracket here. All you do is you slide it off, and there you go. There's that bottom bracket, the top bracket, and the blade. Very cool, very interesting design, and it really is relatively easy to put together. and complete. It just takes a little bit of force to actually put it on the metal bracket. As you can see, what I was talking about here is that little groove. That's where this sucker is going to slide on and be retained via pressure. Now I'm doing this behind camera, so just bear with me if it takes me a second. But as I said, it does take some pressure. Make sure everything's lined up. It is. There we go. And bam, you're in business. Now I'll go ahead and include some pictures of various Neo-Gam razors now. And in that, if you guys looked, there are various kinds of Neo-Gam razors. There was the Neo-Gam base model, which this is the model here, which is the Bakelite handle. There were other various models like the Neo-Gam Neorador, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, and the Neo-Gam Lux, the Neo Raz. Now all these, I believe, are produced by the exact same manufacturer for this razor. They all maintain the same design. They were all German manufactured razors. But over time, you did see introduction of similar designs that, unlike maybe a modern slant razor, which this is the Fine Accoutrement Super Light Slant. I absolutely love this razor. It's fantastic. It's made of modern polymer. It's a lot more sturdy than maybe your old Bakelite, and it's actually a little bit lighter. But I love this razor. But you can see how it torques the blade, how the angle is extreme on this, and kind of just how that razor typically works. Now, this particular razor does not torque the blade. It goes down at a defined slant. A lot of the razors, the slant razors that you saw popping up around this time, were very defined slants that were going down. The Walbush design, which is what this is based off of, was an adjustable slant. Very interesting, and I've never been able to find one out there in the wild. If I did, I'd pick it up in an instant, but they probably sell for ridiculous prices. But the Neo-Gam is a very fun razor to shave with. It actually, when you're shaving with it, you just want to go straight down. Now, the only time that I do turn it to the side, which is an interesting feature of it, is when I'm going right underneath my neckline, where I'm wanting to make sure that I'm maintaining the beard line that I do have right underneath my jaw. And the cool thing about that is when I do turn it to the side to maintain that line, and of course you're going to want to maintain that same 30-degree angle across your face as you're going down. When you're going straight down like this, you'll want to maintain that 30-degree angle. But when I'm actually turning it to the side, it actually gets out of the way for me, and I can actually see what I'm shaving a little bit better than I might with a traditional DE, where I'm letting all this kind of essentially in the way as I'm going down my neckline. So that's very interesting. But this is a very cool razor. You don't see a lot of them pop up. I only saw one, and it was in Italy, and I purchased it immediately. It did cost me a pretty penny in order to get this razor, but it is one that has been on my radar since I first saw that episode from ILBS. And it is one that I believe that you should have in your shave den too. Like I said, these are mild razors. I would say that anyone that is proficient with a DE razor blade can handle this razor perfectly fine. You don't need to be particularly skilled with slant razors in order to be able to use the Neo-Gam. I've used everything from Astra Superior Platinums, Gillette Silver Blues, Voskhod, and feather blades in this razor. And I can tell you that the Astra Superior Platinums are probably my favorite so far in this razor. I found the Voskhod and the Gillette Silver Blues a little too mild for my liking, and the feather just a smidgen bit too aggressive. And I didn't get much more efficiency out of this razor with the feather. But with the Astra Superior Platinum blades that I'm using in that video, I do seem to get some very good efficiencies out of this razor. And it's just interesting to see once you start kind of collecting slant razors or just razors in general, it's kind of interesting to see the similarities and the differences. It's cool to know that there are modern manufacturers of slants like the twist on the Walbush design by Phoenix Artisan Accoutrements. And I really do feel like this razor, just the manufacturing processes and the design ended too early. I believe this razor has a lot more going for it than meets the eye. I believe that you could do a lot of this, not only with just Bakelite, but if you bring this into the modern century with modern polymer, our manufacturing techniques today, along with maybe even CNC machining this out of aluminum, I think would be fantastic. I would snatch one of these up in an instant if I could get this all in aluminum. I do believe that there was an all-metal version of this made. I'm not 100% sure on that, so don't quote me on that, but I do believe I have seen some pictures out there of an all-metal version of this from back in the 1930s. But it's just a really cool piece of history, and I think the logo is really interesting. I love the way that this is advertised and marketed. It's just a gorgeous, simplistic design. I love that Doug Smythe over at Phoenix Arts and Accoutrements really utilizes that logo. It reminds me of Lucky Strike. One of the reasons why I really like the Lucky Strike logo is it's really iconic to the advertising of the time, and I'm also a huge fan of Mad Men. So if you guys know anything about Mad Men, then you definitely know something about Lucky Strike and the whole advertising campaign there. It's really interesting to kind of get into, but it's interesting to kind of see the similarities there with just kind of the logo designs and the color palette at the time. I love the cream color in the middle with this kind of grayish brown on the outer edges, and then you've got this burnt orange on the sides. It really makes everything just pop. It looks fantastic. But I can tell you, out of all the slants that I do have, this is probably the most, no, not probably, this is definitely the most mild of all the slants that I have. It's not necessarily the most efficient, though you can get great shaves with it if you don't mind a couple passes. Though in my opinion, one of the things with slants is, of course, you're maximizing your efficiencies. So you're going to be getting a extremely close shave in a single pass with the Alpha Ecliptic. Same exact thing with the Fine Accoutrements Super Light Slant. I absolutely love that razor. I actually have the aluminum CNC version of this coming in tomorrow, so I'm really looking forward to that. And of course, I'll be posting some shave of the day stuff with that. And the cool thing about that is you can actually interchange some of the parts with the metal version, so that'll be kind of cool messing with that. But you guys know that I've been looking forward to showcasing the Neo-Gam for a while. I'm glad I was finally able to show you guys a shaving video of that. But just look at this razor again. Just look at that close-up. It's a gorgeous razor. It came to me in almost mint condition. There is a little flaw right there. You can kind of see that. It's some sort of very small hairline crack or indentation there. Doesn't bother me. Doesn't affect the razor whatsoever. And I'm really glad to own this. It's one of those that I'll never get rid of. I'll never part with. It's always going to be in my collection. And, you know, you can't say that with all the vintage razors that you pick up, but this is a really unique thing. You just don't see it on the market that often, and I'm very proud to be an owner of it. I keep trying to think of different ideas to really start off the channel and get a logo going. I think it would be cool to have my tattooed hand holding on to a Neo-Gam. There's just I think that would be just such a really nice, iconic symbol for the channel. So I've been trying to look online at places like Fiverr and stuff like that to get a logo going for the Shaving Tolson, but we'll see. Getting a little too ahead of myself. But thank you guys so much for popping on by. If you were watching the video, there were other products that I did use in that video for the shave. I have been doing I did a first impressions video that I also posted to YouTube, but I'm also going to be doing a full review here very shortly of Colonel Ichabod Conk, or Colonel Conk products. I've been very pleased with this. For the price of the pucks and the aftershave, you can't go wrong. For I think I can pick this up locally at one of my brick and mortar stores for $3.50, and that is an incredible price for a wonderful glycerin-based soap. I also followed that up with their Bay Rum aftershave, and I love that frosted glass bottle. It's just a classy look. It just looks fun and cool. But I will talk to you guys later. Thank you so much for stopping by, and have a great night.